So guys, welcome to today's video. Now, in recent news I picked up this nice Adidas vintage jacket from ASOS. I think it was like £38, very nice. And I also got some new shoes. Yes, here are the shoes. I think they're pretty nice, you know. Let me just say that today's video is going to be me talking to the camera about your driving test. Now I'm going to be giving you a few tips that your instructor wouldn't have given you and a few tips you probably wouldn't know about before I told you. Now the first driving test tip is that on your manoeuvre you get 4 minutes. Now think about it logically, if you don't take up the 4 minutes you're going to be driving around for longer, and if you're driving around for longer there's more chance you're going to make a mistake, because no matter how good a driver you are, eventually at one point in your life you'll get bibbed because you didn't give right of way to someone where you should have done, and it's just a matter of time before it happens. That's why often people say driving tests are just luck. Tip number 2, basically just don't drive at the speed limit, drive a few miles an hour below the speed limit, because I don't know what it is, but when you drive a bit slower you have more time to think, you have more time to assess, and there's just less chance of you making a silly mistake. So I remember my first one I was driving at 30, 40, dead on the speed limit, and the second one I drove about 27, like 36, around that speed, and I passed. And I'm not saying that's solely down to that, but I definitely did help out. I don't know why, and I'm sure if you haven't seen why I failed my my first one, you can go check out my video here. I'll leave a link in the description. But I passed like the 21st of December, so it was a while back now. I've just been caught up in loads of work. Now the third tip is to have your window open. If your window's open, then basically you can hear like everything that's going on around you, and if you're kind of listening out, especially when you're on your maneuver, you know, like as soon as a car comes, when you're on your maneuver you're meant to like stop. So if the window's open, if you don't necessarily look behind you, you can hear and then you can stop. Now another one is to strike up conversation with the examiner, because if you're talking to the examiner, you know, they're getting a bit distracted. They might not be looking at your gearbox as much. They might it just takes their mind off it, and if they're not concentrating as much, if you make a mistake, they're less likely to notice. Obviously when I was doing my driving test I had 2 older men quite stuck up who I tried to strike a conversation with, and every time they just shut me down. You know what, it was like talking to a girl when they're just not interested and you just keep trying to chat them up. Your examiner might not want it, so if they don't want it then you're just going to have to do the driving test in silence, which is why I did both times. Another tip, make sure that the shoes you are wearing have a thin sole, because if you have a thin sole you have more control over it. If there's a thicker sole then it's just a bit harder to drive. I'm sure you know that from your driving instructor and everything like that. And now this is probably a key one for me. The 2 questions you get before your test, if you get them wrong or if you get one of them wrong you get a minor. Getting a minor is not the end of the world. I think you're allowed like 11, 13 or 15. One of them you get loads of minors. No one ever really uses them. But think about it like this. If you try your hardest to memorize all the questions and then get the questions wrong at the start of your test, it puts you in a bit of a bad mood for your test. You're already one step back. Now if you don't bother at all with memorizing the questions, you know you're going to get them wrong. So if you get them wrong, it doesn't matter. You're still in the same frame as mind for your test. So I would think about whether you want to go all out in memorizing them or just forget about them, because if you go down the middle and half-heartedly and you get them wrong, it can really put a downer on your test. Now also be confident, because if you're not ready to take your test, your instructor's not going to say, you know, take your test. I failed on my first corner. Was it due to nerves or was it due to confidence? I don't know, probably maybe a bit, but I doubt it though. Make sure on the first few turn-ins you are aware, because that's where most people go wrong. I went wrong there. That's where most people fail. Also, be smart when you choose the time of day you want to take your test. Choose a time of day where it's going to be past rush hour. It's going to be past everyone rushing to drop their kids off, rushing to get back. Now you want to do it just before or just after lunch. They're the 2 ideal times. I done mine 11:11, the first one I failed, and then at like 1:12, the second one I passed, thank goodness. Now on your driving test you do go for an independent drive. That's calm. Just drive left all the time. Never bother turning right, because if you have to turn right then you're causing extra stress for yourself. And also try and go down all the back roads, all the quiet roads. Now when you do the drive where you have to go where the instructor tells you, it's nice and easy. Just ask them to repeat it if you forget. I asked him like 5 times. I think he's getting kind of mad. Like, I just didn't know. Like, I was like, say it mate, just say it louder. I can't hear you. And he's doing this voice like, take the next left on the roundabout. I'm like, bro, just speak normally. They speak in some weird voice, but yeah. And if you get a dual carriageway, don't panic, because you're going to get a 3-point turn, because routes are done in order of like how hard they are. So if you get a super hard route, you get the easy maneuver. If you get a middle route, you get the middle maneuver. You get an easy route, you're going to get like a reverse around the corner. You know, it kind of works like that. But I hope you guys have found this video helpful. If you have, do leave a like, do subscribe down below. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded as much as I'd like to recently. I've just been so busy. Should be revising right now, but I'm doing this for you guys. So yeah, hopefully you do enjoy. Subscribe to my channel if you're about that student life. Let me know if you passed. Check out my video where I failed, and I will catch you all again soon.